It's not a game, it's a rich thing.
Welcome to another deep conversation on Vinci to the World, your personal journey to health, wealth, and happiness. My name is Dino Delpesh, your host. I am an entrepreneur and a bodyweight strength coach. Now, if you don't know what that is, it's all good. Just stick around and you'll soon find out. My aim with this segment is to have very deep conversation with extraordinary people from the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and abroad. Now, these conversations are designed to bring you greater possibilities and insights into living a healthier lifestyle physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and wait for the big one, financially. Now, if you're the kind of person who attaches value to living a healthier lifestyle, personal development, and self-growth, this is your conversation. What's up, what's up, what's up? What's up, what's up, what's up? Hope you guys ready for another conversation. Now today I'll be joining with a very interesting individual. And today we're going to be talking all about leadership and healthy lifestyle. I know some people may be wondering, like, you know, what leadership has to do with living a healthy lifestyle. Most leaders are usually fat and most leaders are usually like this. So, but today we're going to dispel some myth. And today who's going to join me? No other than Amelia Samuel. Now, Amelia has been a leadership for, you know, quite some time now. Now, she's currently the district youth president of Wesleyan, and also she's the graduate leader teacher of her workplace. Okay, so she's been in leadership position where she's been leading teams, young people, old people, middle-aged people, whole bunch of it. And she's someone who's also, you know, somebody who's into, you know, working out and living that healthier lifestyle. I can remember recently we had a conversation and she was, you know, trying out that keto diet. So maybe she can talk a bit about that as well today. So we have some interesting things coming up. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome you to Amelia.
Hey guys,
Hey,
nice to be here.
How are you doing? How are you doing?
I'm good. What about you? How are you?
Not bad, not bad. So you had quite a busy day today.
I did. Had a busy day, but it was good. It was productive, so I am happy about that. Yeah.
Well, what I'll do, I'll officially welcome you to Vinci to the World, you know, where I have deep conversation with extraordinary people. I know because you're here, you're one of those extraordinary people.
Yeah.
You know. Well, just to break the ice before we really get into the conversation, you know, I always ask all my guests this, you know, this powerful question. I think this is the question of all questions. You know, if you had to have a superpower, what would it be and why?
Okay, so I thought about this, and you know, I'm telling myself probably it will be teleportation.
Oh, wow,
interesting. Sure. You know, I definitely like to travel a lot. I definitely like to see so many different places, and it would be so easy to just teleport, snap of a finger, you know, just be here, go to China, then come back, you know, go to Greece, you know, so just definitely if I'm able to teleport, and I love people, I love cultures, so it would definitely enable me to just meet so many different people, experience so many different cultures, and just have fun for sure.
Well, I hope with that teleportation power, you'll be able to take other people along with you.
Yeah, for the ride. Come along for the ride.
Also, and something I didn't mention, Amelia is from the beautiful island of Barbados. You know, as you know, I'm from the island of St. Vincent. So she is officially the first islander to join me on Vinci to the World. You know, most of the other guests has been outside of the Caribbean. So it's really a pleasure to have you here as a fellow islander, you know, to have conversations like these. Like, just another question.
Sure.
With this teleportation power, how would that aid, you know, in what you do currently as a leader? Like outside of traveling, you know, and everything and culture, like how would teleportation, you know, play a role in that?
It would definitely enable me to communicate a lot with fellow youth leaders, you know, just communicating with people that are about change, you know, really getting that opportunity to be face to face with them, you know, plan projects, do things so that we can definitely impact lives. So that would be something that I would do, just meet different leaders, because I do work with children and I definitely enjoy that. So it would be nice to just be able to go to different places and reach out and help where I can possibly do. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And you said that you work with children. I wanted to ask, like, who do you serve as a leader, and why?
I a lot of people, but definitely more children and youth. So
cool.
I am a special needs teacher by profession. So that's my niche market. That's definitely where I am, and I serve children that have varying special needs. But I also, as a youth leader of the Wesleyan Church here in Barbados, that's who I serve as well. Teens, young adults. And it is definitely a privilege to serve them, to work with them, to share the word of God with them, to find out what they're interested in, and to be able to just assist in that way. So, yeah, definitely.
It's interesting listening to you, and the thought that came to my mind was that I know some of my friends would be listening to this, and they realize that both of us are from the Caribbean. Now I'm wondering, I'm going to ask them, how different does your accent sound to me?
Well, for sure, we sound different. The Basic accent is completely different than Bajan, for sure.
I know. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like in the Caribbean, each island people have a different sounding voice, you know. And one thing, I don't know if you have this a lot when you travel, for your leadership forum and other activities. Most people would say, oh, you Jamaican, or you come from Jamaica. And to us, our voice, we think we sound so completely different.
Completely different. Yeah. Sometimes people can pick up the accent, but then, they definitely know I'm foreign. They're like, yep, you're not from here.
Yeah.
Where exactly are you from? But yeah, I don't think they always get the Bajan on point unless I really go into my dialect. Then it'll be, yeah.
So you're telling me right now you're not going into your dialect? I thought this was like, real, Bajan, down to earth kind of thing.
Not really. Some of it is going to come out. Some of it will come out, man.
Okay. Well, just to pull things back a bit, I know that you traveled a couple months ago. You had, remind me about that. It was a leadership forum in
Cincinnati. So I went to what is called Follow 2019. So it's, with youth leaders from all across America, actually. So it's our Wesleyan leadership conference. So we, a team from the Caribbean, we went up to Cincinnati for a leadership conference, and it was amazing. So it was so interesting, to see so many young people serving God, so many people in leadership positions, and the things that we do, how we interact. And it was just so good to get to interact with people on a different level from just across the world. Yeah, so it was nice.
Like as a leader, like what stood out most to you during that period of time?
Like I guess the sessions. So for me, like the breakout rooms. So they had something called breakout rooms, and so you had the opportunity to go into smaller groups, and you were able to really break down a lot of things in terms of like your own personal life as just who you are as a leader, and really fine-tuning those things about yourself, and then how because you're better able to know who you are, you're better able then to lead people. So I found these sessions was really, really good. It gave me a lot to think about, so that I was able to reflect, look back, and see how then I can be a better leader. Yeah.
Oh, and that's so powerful. You remind me of my first conversation I had with this yoga specialist, George Michael, and one of the major topics that we spoke about was self-awareness. And how through yoga, it helps him to learn more about himself. And now you're talking here about, knowing who you are, so that you can serve better. Like what's that like? How was that really shown up in your practice as a leader? What are some things that you learn about yourself, that you are willing to share, if any?
Well, I guess it just taught me a lot about in terms of my strengths. Because sometimes I think people think as a leader that you have to do everything. And that's not really about what leadership is, is that you are good enough to know like what you are good at and what other people are good at, and then be able to bring those qualities and those skills together as a team, so that you get the job done. So for me is allowing myself to really say, okay, you're strong in these areas and you're weak in these other areas. And you need to find people that are strong in these areas so that when you come together, you are bringing something that is great. And so it also taught me that I needed to be a little bit more dependable on people, because sometimes I find I'm very like, I can do this and this is how I want it to be done. But being in leadership, you can't do that. It's a team, and you're leading people and you're looking for people to work together. So I had to be like, okay, Amelia, delegation is okay. And people have strengths that you can utilize. And I found that helped me so much in being able to just bring people together and use their strengths and see them shine and see them blossom. And so that was really good.
You remind me of something I heard my business coach said. He said that when you're creating a business, one of the things that we need to learn to do as leaders is how to empower others. And if you have, I think John Maxwell said, if you have somebody in your organization or somebody on your team that can do something 80% as good as you do something else, because now that would give you the space, to capitalize on other things that needs your attention.
Exactly.
And if there's somebody in your organization who can do something 50% as good as you, what you need to do, you need to bring them closer to you, train them, and eventually they would be able to perform that particular task even much better than you. So that's really insightful what you've just shared. And I think even as me myself doing things or creating stuff or having a team, sometimes you want it to be a particular way, and then you want to do it like this, and sometimes you just gotta let go and let other people works around you. And which leads to my next question, which I'm very curious about. Like, can you tell me about a time when you have demonstrated maybe that particular leadership skill, whether it's at work or whether it's at church?
I think I'll almost say at church, because at work the dynamics are different.
Okay.
But at church, I have a team, and I would say I have an amazing team. Like, they definitely make me look so good. But I would say
big them up. Big up the church team now.
Exactly. They're an awesome team for my community.
Call off your name. Big them up right now.
Kimberly, Melanie, Brown, Mikkel. Mikkel is super, like, definitely love Mikkel. Tamisha, Kimar, my team rep, CJ, Rachel, so definitely my advisor, Catherine, our youth pastor, Reverend Virgil. Like, I've just got a really good team of people. And then even aside from them, I just have like so much support from the general youth and my family. So that's been really good. But I would say in terms of like planning events, because, as youth, we definitely try to get a lot of our young people together. So where we can mix, we can blend, we can, feed off of each other, we can share things, we can share knowledge, we can edify them, help them to grow spiritually, but also in their own personal lives and social lives. So I find like in terms of our planning, our events, when we first started our new committee, we had a big launch. So it was called Revive All. And we got t-shirts. So we have a Revive All t-shirts. We really put out the word out there for everybody to get t-shirts. It was just a very big launch. And I was really pleased with the turnout. We had like over 500 youth, and people come, and it was very, very impactful. And my team, they did everything that they needed to do. We just ensured, like, write our list in terms of stuff that we needed to have for the launch, whether it's food, whether, just in terms of mics, sound equipment, people to usher, ordering shirts. So everything and whatever tasks that, I gave them, they did it splendidly. They never said, well, Amelia, no, I don't think I can do this. And even if they did, like, they always said, okay, well, maybe I can find somebody else to help me. They were like, yeah, so I have this part covered. Do you need help with something else? So I found that we worked really well together in terms of me actually being able to say, okay, I can give you guys the stuff to do. And, they did it flawlessly. They did it flawlessly. So kudos to them for sure. So it just showed me, like, from that experience, I was like, okay, Amelia, you can be more trusting of people, just to give them stuff and to ensure that they will get it done because they are capable, they have the skills, they have the capacity to do it. And, when we just leave everything over to God, as well, we just do what we have to do and we give it to God and He does the rest. So yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Like, you have a lot of things bouncing around in my head, after you just shared what you've shared. Like, like thinking, because I know as a leader, when you have a team, being able to motivate your team is like one of your greatest assets, because maybe sometimes you have somebody who's on your team and that they have the potential to get particular things done, but because of imposter syndrome, they don't believe in themselves. Like, how do you get around situations like that? What are, like, some techniques that you may use to get, your team riled up and motivated to, execute on your events or your projects?
I would say, yes, there were times where it was a little bit challenging, but mostly I just tell them, guys, we've got this. Like, this is something that we have to do. I guess mostly for me, I'm just like, okay, this is what we have to do. Let's plan it out. Let's have our meeting. Let's see what it is that we need to do. And for the most part, we just, do a lot of brainstorming and juggle things around. And, I encourage them and say, guys, this is what we need to do. And for the most part, they're like, yes, let's do this. I did have instances where I would, like, either message somebody one-on-one and, so I would just message you and be like, yeah, I believe in you. I know you can do this. You can, like, you have the capacity to do it. So, don't worry about that. Exactly. Just a little pep talk, don't worry about it. You pray about it. I've got your back if you need help. Like, I always tell this to my youth at my local church because, we give them a lot of different challenges in terms of leading the youth services. And before they were like, nah, Amelia, I can't do it. I was like, no, but you can. And, in terms of getting them to be in charge, of the entire service, that took a while because they would initially, like, drift back. But then once they got accustomed to it, and once I said, what, if you need help, you can call me. And what I'll always do is, like, just check up on them during the week. Do you have everything covered for the service? And, they would say, yeah, I've got it covered. So most of the time they were like, yeah, I good, man. And I was like, oh, you got it covered, so it's good, So it's only like if they really need help, they will be like, well, Amelia, I might need help in this area or another area. And I'll be like, that's okay. Just tell me what you need and we can work with it together. So for the most part, especially my teams, I really give them a pep talk, and they know me quite well, and I think it's all about building that relationship. So because we have such a great relationship and just supporting them a lot, they are okay to come to me, and then we're able to go from there. Yeah.
That's dope. Like, I don't know if it's because I wouldn't say I'm an engineer, but my bachelor's is engineering, so sometimes when I'm processing stuff, I think about things as like tools and components to fit together. So it's like when I asked you about motivation, like I can hear a couple of components coming out of your answers. And one of the things that I heard was, like pep talking, like this is like a literal tool that you can use as a leader to get your team motivated, checking in on them occasionally and make sure that they know that they have your support.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Them just knowing that you're there, that you can just call me if you need help.
Yeah, and that's powerful. It's simple, but it's powerful. Yeah, and that's really dope. And you're pretty young for a leader who of such a caliber. How did that happen? Like, like yeah.
Put me on the spot here. Well, I guess like just growing up in church, we were always like pushed in that area, and I wasn't always saying that I was a leader. Although I was in leadership positions, I didn't peg myself as a leader, because I would like shy away from it a bit. But because I had a good leader, I had a good mentor, so even like stemming off of that, just seeing how he dealt with us as youth coming up and how he motivated us, like it just made me like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, and you just kind of like just fall into the position. So it was just like just having different roles on committees, even at secondary school, being president of the key club, just so even just like looking back and now thinking about it, I was like, I was in like real leadership stuff, but I never like, saw myself, okay, yeah, you're a leader, because I just saw that word as so like stringent, like, oh, you're a leader. But yeah, so from time I was like 15, 16, just going through youth sessions and just different youth committees and just moving my way up, and just going overseas, being at different camps and just volunteering for positions. I was like, yeah, sure, I'll do it. And so it just kind of like grew into that. So it was good, and I like it. I enjoy working with people. I enjoy, my passion is youth for sure. So I just love working with them and just being there supporting. Yeah.
But this is pretty interesting. Like, you have been in this for quite a while, as I can see. Especially coming from, the church, that has groomed you. But also I've seen this particular skill, transfer over into your professional life, which is a side that you don't really, give that much attention to, But I can see that all that has made your lead has placed you into a position to lead even professionally. Because when you mentioned that you were a principal, I was a bit taken back. I was like, wow, you're principal? Like, how old are you? So, and it's a very interesting story. So, I don't know if you want to talk a bit about that, or you would just leave that, for another time.
It doesn't. I can share a little bit on it. So I was always in the special needs teaching profession. So when I finished my master's in special education in England, I came back to Barbados, and I worked as a teacher's aide. Sorry, no, teacher's assistant, and at a private school, and it was good. Did that for a year. Then I moved on to another special needs school. So I was always in the special needs area, and I was at this place for a couple years, and I was always praying about it. I was like, Lord, just I want to do something different, because there wasn't any place in terms of moving up the ladder where I was, but I would apply, and I never got through to anything, and I was like, God, you're just setting me up for something, like, okay, you want me to stay here. I guess I'm supposed to stay here to learn a lesson, to learn something from being here. And then I was like, all right, well, I guess the next school year rolled around. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm still here. So you probably have me here for a reason. And then I think it was in maybe July of 2017. One of my sisters came and told me that, you know, she heard about this job. She was like, I think you should apply for it. And I was like, all right, yeah, no problem, you know. And so I applied. Never heard anything back. So I think it was in June. So July passed, you know, the summer was coming on, and I was like September rolling on to go back to my previous workplace. And I was like, well, all right, God, well, you know, probably this is where you want me to be for now again. So we'll see. And then as soon as I started to plan, you know, like for my September term, I received a call about the job, and I was like, but I thought this was done because I didn't hear anything about this is like months. And I was just like, I know about this anymore. I was like, you know, I've already started to get ready for work, so I'm not going to do it. And then he was like, no, we really, really need this person. You know, I want you to come in. And I talked to both of my sisters about it because they're both teachers as well. And they were like, girl, you need to do that. Like, you need to go, you know, like, don't worry about that. You know, just go. And I was like, all right, you know, I went for the interview. I didn't hear a call as yet. And then as soon as school was supposed to start, you know, I went in for a week. And then the last week, I think the last day in the week, I got a call. It was like, you need to start work on Monday. And I was like, what? And I was like, okay, well, sure. And it was just like a push right into it. And at first I didn't, you know, when I got my job description, I didn't realize like how detailed and like what I would actually be doing. At first I thought I was just going to teach. And then I was like, no, that you're not just teaching. Like you're in charge of the
You're running the whole school.
And I was like, okay. It is a very small unit. But I was like, okay, I was like, well, God, you know, I guess this is where you have me. And I just went in, you know, learned the people, learned my staff, and, you know, just tried to be myself, just try to be as, you know, nice as possible, try to get to know everybody, try to really get a feel for what it is I'm supposed to do, and to just try to execute it to the best of my ability. So that's just basically like where it, you know, came. I was not even looking for it because I was like had given up on that, and you know, that door just opened, and you know, it was for me to say yes, because I could have said no, but I was like, you know what, okay, this is what I want to do, because I wanted a different challenge, and I was like, okay, so I definitely have a different challenge.
That's incredible. You know, one of the amazing thing about this conversation is, you know, I only have conversation with people who are high performers. And one of the things that I love for a lot of youths to see in this conversation, that even high performers sometimes, you know, think just like a normal human being. You know, like, you're a very incredible person. You know, you're leading a team, you know, of other people at a school of special needs. And that's not something that, you know, you can take lightly. Anybody can do. You know, you are the district youth president of your church, and you're organizing events with 500 people. You know, and these are amazing things. You know, and that's one of the things as most high performing leaders, we tend, because we're so focused on results and serving people, we tend to forget about how incredible, you know, we are and how we're performing. So hopefully during this conversation, I can remind you about that, and others can also see that sometimes it's just, you gotta, you know, bite that grenade and put your foot down and start to move, because, you know, God always have a bigger plan.
He does.
As you said, your story, that, you know, it also displayed that, and that is really incredible. That's really incredible.
Yeah, I definitely would say, like, in every single thing that I do, I always put God first. Like, this is like, I can never, you know, emphasize it enough. Like, I you know, pray about things. I'm like, God, is this where you want me to go? It's not always easy, you know. Sometimes I'm like, I'm so nervous, or like I really don't know like what step to take. But you know, I would say that God has really plotted my path, and I've seen it like in so many areas of my life just growing up, that God has definitely plotted my path to where I am today. Yeah.
Straight up.
Even being district youth president of Barbados, the Barbados district, like that was not something that I was like even remotely thought about, but that's where God wanted me to be.
And I'm sure you're doing a very great job at it.
So I've been told.
And as interested, the title of our conversation is Healthy Lifestyle and Leadership. I know when a lot of people think about healthy lifestyle, they're thinking about, working out and diet and food. But no, healthy lifestyle is also about the relationship, that how you build relationship with people. Like how do you handle, trying times? Like for you, example, you really wanted this chance and it just seemed like things wasn't working for you. But you still, you were still persistent, you still, follow through. So
Yeah.
it is very interesting. So going back to the whole issue of living a healthier lifestyle. I know you were trying out your keto adventure, and I know you were a swimmer, you have it. So you used to swim in high school, so you have experience being in that sports realm. But how important is health to you as a leader? Like,
I would say it's very important. I think even just looking back at a lot of things I used to do, and just for me personally, just want to maintain a healthy lifestyle, not just in terms of eating well, but in terms of exercising, and not even just like physically, but mentally, if you understand me, and spiritually, just to have a healthy body, which encompasses all those things. I would say before I was very fit. I took it like very seriously growing up. As you said, I used to swim. I also used to do track and field. I played rugby when I was at high school. So I was very active, and I definitely enjoyed it. I was all about working out and getting those abs as everybody want. And I sometimes I didn't eat all the great. Like I'll admit that. Like there are times where I was like, I could binge on this and could just eat this, and because my metabolism was so high, like I just burned it like nothing. But obviously, as I've gotten older, it is not as easy. Obviously you can put on weight quickly, but I also think it's just important to make sure that you are healthy in general. That that you drink plenty of water. You take care of your body. As the Bible says, your body is a temple. So we need to take care of what God has given us, and we need to do that to our best. So whether it's just walking, we don't need to be the fittest person or to be the most athletic, but we just need to ensure that we are healthy. Yeah.
And when you said you were fit, like what does fit look like to you? Like paint the picture for me. What do you mean you were fit? Compared to now, like what's the gap? What's the gap like? What's the gap like between when you say you were fit and now?
And because I think I used to work out a lot, so I was definitely I had a lot of muscle. I built a lot of muscle in my legs. My arms are really strong. So I think I was just overall generally a stronger person because I did it more frequently and consistently. So so I think I was fitter then, and because obviously I was competing for school and stuff like that, so I had to be like proper.
Like what does that look like performance wise? Like you can say you had stronger arms and this, but in terms of performance, like what could you have done with that fit body?
Probably run more, like run longer, did more, like pull more weights, because I used to like push a lot of weight.
Like how much? How much? Give me some numbers. Give me some numbers. I want to hear numbers.
How much is that? Okay, so let's say about so if I do bench press, leg extensions, maybe like 180. Yeah, from on my legs,
Wow.
my arms pull down. How much did maybe my max? Maybe like hold on, 70. My max probably when I just pulling down.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would run more. So I think I have more definition because I did it.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
But I guess getting older, busy, like I just being more busy. I wasn't taking it as seriously as before, so I kind of slack off a little bit. But I find like when I'm actually motivated to do something, and I'm like, okay, I want to look like this, I want to do this, then I'm like, okay, you need to work out, you need to get up in the mornings, you need to do this, you need to do a jog, or just do some HIIT training. Yeah, so I'm not as toned or how I was before, as strong as I was before. But I'm still proud of myself because I did some stuff recently. So I was like,
That's
do
good.
my
That's
challenges. So
good.
I challenge myself in that area. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. You know, I know like most likely when we're in high school or college or university, we tend to have more time to do these stuff, even though we have tasks. But thinking about it really, do we actually have more time when we're in university? University is tough, like people, other adults swap work, and we say, oh, you guys in school, you don't understand. But if I look at my university days compared to work days, sometimes, man, you have a class in the morning, a class before lunch. After lunch, you have another class, and even sometimes up to 6 p.m. you have another class. And then after this class, you have assignments, you have projects, and what's not. So I know there's some people who have that lifestyle and still can find the time. But for some strange reason, when we get into the work life, it's just difficult to find time. Even sometimes we work from a fixed time. How do you find time to get your workout in as a leader?
I'll have to like schedule it. Like it will have to be done like after work. Either I do it after work, I have to do it like as soon as I get up in the morning. So before, when I first started my job, this new job I'm in, I would try to work out like at least 3 days or 4 days a week. I would go to the gym and definitely get my fit on and be like, yeah. But then I found like things got so hectic and I was just like, I cannot be bothered. It was just like so rough. But but I said I need to like make the time, like whether I have to pencil it in or because I enjoy it. I think for me it's harder to start back once you stop.
Yeah.
So that I think that was my challenge initially. When I stopped, I was like, okay, I'll start back. And then like a year passed and I was like, oh, didn't do it. An entire year. And I was like, okay, we have to do better. Yeah, so then I just, started to do some walking with my friends, then, do some bit of running, do a little workout on my own. So just, I think having people there to support you is also good as well. So friends will be there, whether they're walking and running, but like we're still there. And then, try to get in my pull-ups sometimes, as it goes, try to do, different strengthening activities. But I would try to do it after work. So when work is finished, before I go home, I will say, okay, I'm going to go straight to the gym or I'm going to straight on a workout. Because if I go home, then I'll probably be a little bit lethargic. I'm like, not really. But if I do it as soon as, work is finished, then I'm like, yes, I can get it in.
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. Okay, I think I have one last question before we move on to the next segment. And like I know that you were an athlete before, you have more or less built that habit of enjoying the workout process. For you, it's not like you don't need to be convinced to want to work out. It's just something that you need to do and you do it. Sometimes it's not comfortable, but you still do it.
Yeah.
Is there like any other underlying reason why you would feel to yourself like, I need to work out, I should get back on track. Like, other than, it's something that you've been doing and it becomes a habit, is there any other underlying reason at all why you'd want to find time to work out or create time to work out?
Yeah, for sure. I think even as a woman and, as I'm maturing and I'm aging, that I need to ensure that my body is still healthy. I definitely would like that when I'm, in my 40s or 50s, that I'm still healthy, I'm still fit. So I think for me, it's important to continue to work out now so that even when I get older, it doesn't become like a chore, it doesn't become very strenuous, and that my body is still strong. I'm still able to do things that I used to do when I was 30. And I think for me, even possibly if I am to get children, that I like to be able to run around with them, to be able to be out there with my family, to to be with my kids and run around, exercise, and to still be healthy and strong enough to be there for my family.
Yeah, cool. Well said. Well said. You can't get better than that. Can't get better than that. Okay, and this is going to bring us to the most interesting part of our discussion. I know you have family here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but this is where I test your Vinci knowledge, and it's a part of the segment that we call Vinci Trivia. I'm going to ask you 3 basic, simple questions. They may not be as simple, but hopefully they are about the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And as I'll repeat again, for those who will be viewing and listening, that Vinci is short for St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is the island where I'm from. So I'm just going to be bringing the slides up on the screen.
Sure.
Okay. And you'll have a few choices to choose from, so you don't have to just guess off your head.
Okay.
Body rolling.
Hopefully I should do well. I will feel really awful, being half Vinci and I'm not able to answer these questions.
Well, let's see. Okay, the first question is, which of these men are national heroes of St. Vincent and the Grenadines? A, is it Sir Milton Cato?
Oh, Lord.
Is it B, Joseph Chatier? C, Christopher Columbus? Or D, the Honorable Dr. Ralph Gonsalves?
Okay, I really don't know this, but I'm thinking it has to be either A or B.
What's your answer?
I don't want to choose wrong. I think I'm going to go with B, Joseph Chatier.
Joseph Chatier, is that your final answer?
I think so.
Okay, and the correct answer is...
Oh, God.
Joseph Chatier, you're correct. Okay, Joseph Chatier was the chief of the Carib tribe here on the island a long time ago. And he became our national hero after fighting against, the British, colonizers.
Right, because I'm just thinking I remember that name before, remember hearing that name.
Okay, this is another very interesting question that I think that even some Vincentians may not know. On the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, how many airports does the island currently have?
Okay. I'm trying not to be technical because I could be technical with it. Oh, on the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would say 1. I'll say 5.
Okay, is that your final answer?
I think so.
Okay. I just think about it. The correct answer is actually 5. The correct answer is actually 5. Yeah, it's actually 5. The reason why I say it's 5, I changed the answer to 6 because I was thinking, because we recently have a new airport, but as a result of having the new airport, the old airport is no longer in operation. So that would make it 5. Yeah.
Right. So that's what I was wondering in terms of technicality. Because I was like, I know there's another one, but it's like, okay, that's not in operation, so I can't.
Yeah. So that one is my bad, because I put 6 because I was thinking, oh well, we had a new airport, but now I thought, wait, the old airport doesn't exist anymore because the new airport is there. So the correct answer is 5.
I'm crushing it.
Okay, now for your last and final answer, and if you get this one correct, you'll be the first person to have gotten all 3 questions correct. Let's see how it goes.
No pressure.
How far away is the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines from Barbados? Is it 100 miles? Is it 200 miles? Is it 1,000 miles? Or is it 357 miles? No Google?
Yeah, I know. I'm not gonna cheat. I'm not gonna cheat. Okay, so I'm thinking either B or C. They're really close.
Okay, you need to choose an answer.
Okay, B. It's probably wrong.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Okay. The correct answer is the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is actually 100 miles from the island of Barbados.
I think 2.
But that was great. That was great. That was great. So it's good that you have learned something extra about St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Yeah.
Even though you have a bit of knowledge and you're right next door on the neighboring island of Barbados, who is actually to the east of us, and we are to the west of you guys.
The west of us, yeah.
Yeah. So I want to thank you for joining me on another conversation. One of the things that I really got out of this conversation, was those little components of, how to keep your team motivated, and also the importance of empowering the people on your team, because I know sometimes as leaders, we feel like, we need to get it perfect and we need to make sure everything is in place. And we tend to want to do everything, not empowering other people to also perform, and I can't remember if I have this correctly, but one of the major tasks of a leader is to create other leaders.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not necessary to have followers, but to create other leaders. And how we do that is by empowering others.
Yes.
I don't know if you have any last things that you would like to share with our viewers or our listeners. Maybe if people would like to connect with you in the future, how can they do that? Where can they do that? When can they do that?
Okay, yeah. So I just want to say, thanks so much for having me here with you on conversations. I think it was very enlightening for me as well. Just being able to share a little bit about myself and my profession and just being a leader in general. And I just want to encourage people. Sometimes we think that we not be leaders, that we might be placed in situations just because, and sometimes we might just be thrown into it. But my encouragement to you guys is to definitely, take that, run with it, connect with other people that are leaders, and definitely learn from them so that then we can be better leaders. If you want to connect with me, I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, and you can just Google me, Amelia Samuel, on Facebook or Instagram, and so you can definitely connect with me there.
Like this? This is your Instagram handle? It's to the bottom.
No, I think, what is it? I think it's amy.sammy, but you can just type in my name, Amelia Samuel. Yeah, and you will find me on Instagram.
Okay. So guys, so you heard a woman. If you want to connect with Amelia Samuel, she's somebody who has been in the leadership game for quite a while. If you're a leader who's now starting out, in your life, in your career, in your job, she's somebody who you can get some really helpful tips from, and not just tips that you can get from a book, but somebody who is very experienced, in the field. And, this is the end of another conversation. So thank you, Amelia, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Later. Yeah, that was a little Bajan. Later.
Yeah,
You've made it to the end of another deep conversation on Vinci to the world. And I hope that this conversation has brought you a ton of value. As I said, that my aim here is to act as a bridge between two worlds, that of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that of the network of experts I've had the opportunity of connecting with throughout the years. Now, to ensure that my mission here has been accomplished, all I ask is for you to leave a comment in the comment section stating what top 3 insights did you gain as a result of this conversation. And also, if you like, you can also leave one actionable step that you can take in the next 7 days that is going to elevate your personal development. I'm Dino Delplesh, your favorite bodyweight strength coach. One love.